Let's talk about virtual. So the key, as we talked about at the beginning, is having this energy that comes from a wide group of people. And one way to help make sure that happens is by having a virtual meeting. What does that do? Well, it blends different perspectives from people, and in fact, this may seem counterintuitive to some, but many people actually will prefer and be more outspoken actually in a conference call as compared to being in person. A lot of people think, well, let's get everyone together to make sure, no one sits too quiet on the phone or is on mute, but actually that can cut both ways. So a conference call is a very effective way to do brainstorming sessions, and often what that brings to the table is it's easier to find this broad mix of personalities, because you can access more people within the company that may physically not always be convenient or easy to get together. It also, and I would encourage this as it's appropriate within each of your organizations, to tap outside vendors and other partners. These can be a great resource to participate in brainstorming sessions, again, as it would be appropriate. Michael Sampson has done a lot of work with virtual meetings, and so I can, again, pass some links and further research on to you if you'd like after the meeting. But he's got two suggestions. One would be wiki-based, and having people be able to type in their ideas individually when they're in a virtual brainstorming session. What's nice about this is that not only can everyone see all of the ideas, but you can hold virtual votes. And then with comments and things like that, you can continue to refine, whether it's at the end of the brainstorming session or in a subsequent session after the initial brainstorming. You can develop that short list of ideas further, and you've got the comments from the brainstorming session all captured, and that can be very helpful. Or just in a regular conference call with a shared screen similar to the technology I'm using, but having everybody able to access it, you can capture ideas very quickly as they're brought in. And when you do this, we really recommend having a designated note keeper so that they're capturing all the ideas as they're put out there, and people aren't required necessarily to both listen and think about things and be inputting the information themselves. And what this also allows, again, is broader participation, because some people might feel more comfortable inputting things via the chat pane or via email, and you can facilitate the discussion by moving around the table. Well, if you do this, then the tools you use are much more important, and so I want to talk about those just for a minute. Background noise, of course, can be an issue, and so you'll want to make sure that you can control that. That background noise would be visible to you as the leader and facilitator, so you can mute people if needed or mute where the background noise is coming from. You want to have, as we talked about at the very beginning, a very fast-paced conversation, and some conferencing systems don't allow that very effectively without talk over, in other words, people talking over one another, talking at the same time. That's typically not the person or the people actually being rude, but it's the conferencing bridging equipment actually that is not effectively muting people appropriately or allowing people to hear other people talking. That's usually why it's happening, because the people don't hear the other person, and that's a bridging equipment problem. So there are better solutions if you experience that. and we're one of them, so feel free to contact us if you've experienced that before. You also want to consider having breakout sessions, which the conferencing system, again, should be able to easily facilitate for you. So if you've got a large group of a dozen people participating, and then for part of the session you want to have, 2, 3 groups of people, you should be able to separate them, and then whether it's 20 minutes later, bring everyone back together, whatever time frame you want. And again, obviously, you'll have to have a moderator that has control of the entire conference. That's very helpful. And recording can be, just a great, very important tool for brainstorming sessions to capture the whole activity as it's happening.